Talk louder, sir.
Hi, we are gathered here with Karen and Linda, who are both Mojave High School graduates. Karen in 72 and Linda in 77. And they have continued playing music and making music in their life, which is really wonderful. And so I'm here to really find out what music was like back in the day. Now, Karen knows it from when the school started, and I think Linda was in junior high at that time when
I was in
school
grade
started. Grade school. And did you have your mom as a teacher
I
in
did.
band? Okay.
Yes.
So their mom taught in elementary and junior high.
Yes.
And at this point, we can bring in Craig,
Hi.
who also had Mrs. Kuehmann as a teacher.
Since
And-
fourth grade.
Since fourth grade. So there's a lot of music right here happening. So, yeah, I know, right? So, Karen, you started your freshman year in Kuehmann.
That's right.
And then your sophomore year you moved to Bullhead. But while you were in Kuehmann, you were also in band at that time?
I was.
Under the direction of?
Mr. Lovell.
Mr. Lovell,
Walt
who
Lovell was he was actually doing a student teaching at the time, but he didn't have any, there was nobody else. It was just him. He was actually working under the choir director as his advisory teacher. So he was our high school band director.
Right. And then you had to travel pretty much
I had to
every
travel.
day
It was
or
all the
every-
way to Kingman, and our band rehearsals were at night.
Uh-huh.
So our marching band rehearsals were at night. So I had to find people in the band to stay with during the week, and then my parents would come to the football games on Friday, and
Right.
or there was one other student, Frank Hart, who was also in the band, and he and I were both freshmen and couldn't drive. So either his parents or my parents would come to the games and then drive us home after the football game.
Okay. And Linda, you were always at Mojave, right?
I was
From the
always at
beginning.
Mojave,
And who
yes.
did you have always, Mr. Lovell? Or
Yes.
did you have, okay,
Yes.
now, so obviously Mr. Lovell graduated. And did he have a gap between student teaching and starting at Mojave?
Yes, I believe he did, because for the next 3 years I was at Mojave, and he was not. So I
Okay.
think he was still at Kingman during
Okay.
those years.
Okay,
So
okay.
we had two other directors. The first one, the one that started the school, that started with us when the school started in 69, was Mr. Nicely, Mr. Bill Nicely, and he stayed for 2 years. And we had a very small band, as you can imagine, since Frank Hart and I were the only ones who played instruments. We had a few people that learned how to play instruments that first year, and then the band grew little by little. And then my senior year, Mrs. Norma Bruce was our band director for that year, and she may have stayed another year or so. I don't remember for sure.
Right. And
So-
now you graduated in 72.
Right.
And you started Mojave in 73, would that have been? Or what did you
I
overlap
graduated in 77.
with? Okay,
So
73. You
77, so it would have been the fall of 73.
So you graduated.
That I started.
You had already graduated.
I graduated in the spring of 72.
Okay. So you didn't
Yeah.
overlap
No.
in band, and you
No.
said you had Mr. Lovell right all 4
From
years.
the very start.
Okay,
Yeah, he was
okay.
there all 4 years.
What are your memories, Linda? From
Well, I have lots of wonderful memories of being in the band at Mojave. One of the memories that I have was we bought a marching marimba when I was a junior. And so it was very exciting. Up until then, I had played either the clarinet in my freshman year or my sophomore year. I played the glockenspiel and in marching band. And so once I became a junior, we bought the marching marimba. I was so excited when it came. And so I took it home. It was huge. It was probably, you probably
have
can't
to-
see on your phone,
Okay.
but it was, my arms
Right.
would be from one end to another, and it had these posts that you strapped yourself into and hooked up to these posts. And I was so excited. I took it into my bedroom and I strapped that thing on, and then I couldn't get out of my bedroom. And so I had to unstrap the whole thing and then take it out on the front porch and strap myself back into it. So, but it was super fun to play, and so played that for 2 years, and we just had many good memories, good trips. You know, went to Disneyland, went to some away games, and just really had some of the best memories of my high school years.
Yeah. Now, did you guys do competition at all?
We actually did. We went to the ASU Band Day, and at least one year I remember we went to the U of A Band Day.
Oh,
and
They were really good those years. In fact, my brother used to tell me that at one year they got, and it must have been one that year they got a superior with distinction, which doesn't happen very often.
Right.
And not especially with not a band that was from a smaller school.
Right.
So they were really amazing.
Yeah. Our last year I was there, we got the superior rating at the ASU.
That's
Band
pretty
Day.
amazing.
So that it was very amazing.
Yeah.
On our trip to the U of A Band Day, our brand new bus broke down, and we ended up not making it into town until like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was quite the fiasco, but we still got, I think we got a superior on that one too.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
But we were pretty tired.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah. And Karen, you had varied experience with band, but your family is musical.
Right.
Your mom taught, and you said your dad had carried a tune. What was the way you described how?
Well, he carried a tune actually better than my mother did, and my mother was the music teacher. But yeah, we had a lot of fun just doing musical things as a family.
Yeah.
But in my band days at Mojave, that first year, Mr. Nicely started a community band. Since there weren't enough of us to actually get out and perform anywhere, he invited people in the community who lived in Bullhead, who had played an instrument sometime in the past, to come and join us. And at that time, Craig's sister, who was in 8th grade, and brother, who was probably in 6th grade, and his dad all came and joined the community band, along with probably 8 to 10 other people. And we played at football games and had a really good time. And then my junior year, I think I see here that we had our sweatshirts and white pants. That was our uniform. All right, fancy uniform.
So cool.
So we had that. So we must have, I don't know why we had uniforms. I don't think we marched, but I do remember the very first time we marched as a Mojave High School band without the community members. The halftime show was, first we made the letter M. There was like one person there, maybe 2 more, one up here, 2 or 3 here. And then somehow that morphed into, we drew the lines together and this came up. We made a T for Thunderbirds.
All right.
Very big. Very big.
Awesome, yeah.
But that was the very first Mojave Thunder Band halftime show.
All right.
And I don't remember any of the music we played. It was probably fight songs, is my guess. We had a collection of, on Wisconsin and some of those Notre Dame fight songs. And so we played some of those.
Yeah.
So.
And Mr. Nicely, he's the guy who put that fight song together, which we don't play anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it was an old song called Lucky Day.
Yeah.
That I don't know where he found it, if it was used as a fight song where he was from, but I know it was
But he wrote the
attributed
words?
to his arrangement.
Yeah,
which is
I think
pretty
he
cool.
wrote words to it, and then he also wrote an alma mater for Mojave.
Yeah.
So so he was very creative like that. Did a lot of good things, and
And Karen is one of the few, I'm sure, that took their music as a career. She's been a music teacher. She's designed a music curriculum and has done some amazing things with music. And you know, like our daughter Jeanette is also, you know, teaching music, and
Yeah,
I know
you-
there's been a few. We have a couple elementary school teachers now
Right.
that were music teachers in the band. So
Yeah,
you're
but
probably
you-
the first one that kind of branched
I
out.
might have been the first one to make it through college with a music education degree.
Yeah.
And you even
So-
taught our Jeanette with the
Yeah, I
flute
did.
and
I
everything.
taught Jeanette.
Yeah.
My mother taught Craig.
Yeah,
And
so-
most of your siblings,
All of us,
maybe
yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
So our mom taught you guys piano
Yeah.
before band, and
Yeah.
then taught most of you in band
elementary school.
In elementary band. So
That's so wonderful. Music
Yeah.
always brings people together. It's just
it
so
does.
nice.
It does.
Yeah.
So
Now, Linda,
it's a
you were
great
showing me a
experience.
really nice picture in the yearbook of the whole band.
This is-
And was it the time when you guys got the superior?
Oh, that was a pretty picture. It's a color
Yeah, it
picture.
was a color picture in the.
It was here in the front. Right. Oh, there
Oh,
it is.
there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know if you got glare on
And
there,
then a
but
bit of- yeah. So this was. Would you say this was one of the first times
this,
that they got
There was one.
I think we
they
went.
got superior at this
I
time?
think
then?
it might have been the first time we got a superior. We went to the ASU band day at least my junior year that I remember, and I believe we got an excellent
Wow.
then.
Okay.
And so moving up and getting a superior was really
Very
exciting.
amazing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Man, the feel of that, huh? The
Yeah.
adrenaline of that, right?
Well, and you know, we marched in a stadium that held more people than the entire town of Bullhead.
yeah,
So that was pretty exciting.
yeah, yeah.
And you know, after that, after I graduated from Mojave, I actually went to ASU, and I marched in the ASU marching band
Wow,
for
that's-
4 years.
That's amazing,
So
Linda.
that
That's
was
a-
really a
Right.
fun thing to do, even though I was not, my major was not in music.
Right.
It
yeah.
was a great way to meet people that had similar backgrounds and similar interests
Right.
that you had. And I still, you know, more than 40 years later, I still keep in contact with a lot of the people from my ASU marching band days.
I wonder if you were the first for that, because we've had several. You know, Whitney Crow, remember him?
Yeah.
He was in the.
At
I
the
went
ASU
to a
marching
football
band.
game in California, and Whitney
Yeah.
was playing in the Arizona State Band,
Yeah.
and then Daniel, our kids.
Oh, Vega. Daniel Vega
Vega.
is already.
Oh.
Just, I think he stayed in the band all 4 years at
Mm-hmm.
ASU.
Yeah.
I think Deanna Huber went to ASU, and she played the piccolo, and she played in the band at least that first year.
Wow.
I don't,
That's amazing.
I don't remember
We've
if
got
she
several
played
in
more
NAU
than years.
as well.
Yeah.
Now, Linda, do you still pick up your instrument every once in a while? or do you-
I don't pick up the smoky clarinet, as
Okay.
Karen likes to refer to it as.
or the marching marimba.
Or the marching marimba. It wasn't mine. It actually was owned by Mojave High School. So I didn't get to keep the marimba.
Yeah.
But I do, you know, play my harmonica.
Uh-huh, okay.
I do still, I do play my ukulele.
Yeah, okay.
So, you know, I'm maybe not, you know, concert band ready, but...
Yeah, but I know you like music and you're surrounded with music, aren't you?
It is fun to
Yeah.
just, you know, goof around.
But you
with
became a
music.
nurse and you're working
Yes.
at the Banner Hospitals for
Uh-huh. I've been there for 42 years.
42 years, and
Yeah.
you were years as
So-
an ER nurse.
Yes.
And
yeah,
then-
12 years was in the ER. And
That in itself is
then I
amazing.
moved around, you know, to the recovery room and to
Right,
ICU
right.
step down, and I work in simulation now.
Right.
So,
and nursing has changed a lot. I mean, I
Oh,
know this is about
my
music,
goodness,
but
yeah.
but all these robotic surgeries and everything,
Yes.
and you're actually not only teaching nurses but teaching doctors as
Yeah,
well. With
we
how the,
in our simulation center we teach residents
Mm-hmm.
in the, you know, we do a lot of things with the residents at Banner University Medical
right.
Center in Phoenix, which used to be Good Sam, for
Right.
those of you who remember the old days.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
That's good.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And then, there's lots of opportunities there too.
Yeah, for sure. What a way to serve people. And and Karen, you're now currently teaching at the university level, and you're also teaching private lessons. And
Right. Yeah, I taught for like 30 years at a Christian college.
Right.
And then I taught for about, I think it was 15 years at the elementary level, elementary
Right.
general music.
Right.
I taught 1 year in South Carolina, and then the rest of the time I taught in Tempe.
Right, right.
And then during COVID, I retired because
Right.
of just the health situations. I had a
Oh.
liver transplant in 1988, so it was really unsafe for me to go back into a COVID environment.
That was a big part of your life, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I started teaching online then, got a job teaching for a university, and I've been doing that ever since then. So
And
while
then-
I'm officially a retiree, I'm still working at least around half-time.
Right.
So-
And you're also doing Zoom lessons. You're still
Yes,
teaching
yeah, I do some online flute lessons as
flute
well.
lessons, yeah. So your specialty is flute, would you
Right.
say? Okay,
Yes,
but
it
you
is.
also have
I
a
play
beautiful
piano.
voice. So yeah, and piano.
Yeah.
Linda, you sing too, right?
Well,
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I try to sing.
I think we're
Sometimes more successfully than others. Sometimes less successfully
She
than
was,
others.
she was actually involved as a Spanish language worship leader this past Sunday when we had our Pentecost celebration at our church.
That's awesome,
And
Linda.
had to,
Well,
Do you speak
somebody
Spanish?
ditched out on me.
You speak Spanish a little bit, didn't
Un
you?
poquito.
I know, but you went on these mission trips for how many
Yes.
years?
We've gone. This year will be my 14th year.
14th year, yeah.
With this.
With the
group.
medical
And
group,
then
yeah.
there was another group before that we used to go to Peru.
Right.
For medical missions. I went with that group for 3 years.
3 years.
So
wow.
we'll go again this September to El Salvador
Right.
and do club foot surgery on kids.
Right.
So
So it's mostly orthopedic, and mostly
it's
the feet.
podiatry.
Podiatry.
Yeah, so it's anything from the knee down.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
wonderful.
as you've been saying, their experiences in music has really been helpful in developing their other areas
In
of their
every-
lives.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
That
cool how
is
that,
really
that
good.
is.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This
Our
is so
pleasure. Thank
wonderful.
you.
Well,
yeah.
thank you
It
for-
was nice going down memory lane. Yeah.
It was
yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Thank you.